What's up, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at the Galaxy S21 Plus in this late 2025. We are currently on the September security patch, but the November security patch just came out in certain regions. So I would say just check it this week and make sure you're updated to that November patch. But this one currently is on September. I haven't gotten it on mine, personally. This is it's an unlocked version. And so let's just talk about the S21 Plus. This phone is very cheap. By next year, it'll probably be like 120, 130 bucks. And this phone, it is right now on quarterly security patches, but so far Samsung has been kind of, pretty decent with the security patches because it had September, now it's on the November, and they've been doing a really good job with, just putting out these security updates. I think in a timely, fashion here. But yeah, S21 Plus. What I really like about these S21 phones is that this thing is very comfortable to hold. It doesn't have kind of like that kind of weird weight difference on the top of the phone like the S21 Ultra phone. And it's pretty thin as well too, which is something that is pretty nice. And when it's laying completely flat, you don't get too much of a wobble. And the design I think looks great. I really do like this, just the whole series, how they designed it. And we got the full metal design. We also have the little camera cutout, IP68 dust and water resistant, and it's 200 grams, so definitely it's not a heavy phone by any means, but it's not like a super light phone. But yeah, I do really like the overall design of the S21 Plus. Has really grown on me, and a lot of people kind of prefer this phone if you really wanted the flat display. So we can also just touch on this panel too. It's a very nice looking panel. It's a 6.7 inch dynamic AMOLED panel. I think it's aging pretty well. I think the only thing I've noticed with this screen is that if you take it outdoors, try to take some photos, if it's kind of sunny outside, even though it's 1300 nits peak brightness, it can be a little bit difficult to see if it's like super sunny out. But the colors look great. It has that really vivid color where everything is just popping out of the display here. It is a 1080p panel, 120 hertz HDR10 plus, and then we also have pretty decent screen to body ratio at 88.3%, and then we also do have a 1080p resolution at 394 for the PPI. So the icons and everything, they look pretty sharp. I wish this phone had a 1440p display. I think it would look a lot better, but at this distance it still looks really good. If it was 1440p, when you look up close, everything would be like super sharp since it has such a a big display. But I think the display, it has aged pretty well. Samsung, I'm glad Samsung went back to the 1440p's in the newer Plus models. As far as performance goes, again, this phone got its last major update, One UI 7, which was a fantastic update. It still feels, pretty current because Samsung did a pretty big not U-Haul, but UI overhaul and just kind of changed everything around a little bit, updated the icons. We got that new Gemini on here, which is my favorite thing. It's the only AI feature I actually use in real life. I think it's extremely useful. And as far as software, I mean, this thing is pretty fast. It's the Snapdragon version. You guys let me know how your the global model is doing. It's really hard to get that chipset over here, so let me know how that's doing. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty fast. I mean, I never have any issues with performance with this model here. The animations and everything are very fluid on here. So yeah, so I think Samsung did a pretty good job. I haven't had any issues with these security updates. Hasn't messed up the phone in any way, so been really happy about that. So if it continues performance like this, I think it's really solid. It's got 128 gigs of internal storage and 8 gigs of RAM. Like I said, these phones, 150 bucks. I think we should still be able to play PUBG at 90 frames. Yeah, we can still play at 90 frames, and it's very smooth at 90 frames. Now, the issue that a lot of people run into with the Snapdragon 888 processor is simply that this phone, a lot of people say this phone just heats up and you could experience some crashes or stuff like that. So I'm curious to hear you guys' experience with the S21 Ultra. Now, I'm not necessarily a gamer, so I've never had this phone like freeze up and start crashing and glitching. And honestly, it's, I think, cooler than the S21 Ultra. It doesn't get as hot. So I haven't had that experience with the S21 Plus. Just using it as a, just a normal, phone. Some light gaming, and then just social media, video watching. I don't get like it getting super hot and burning to the touch. But yeah, so what do you guys think? But I mean, for 150 bucks, this phone does a really good job of gaming, and the screen also looks good, so it makes everything pop. But yeah, you can come in here for sure and just play a couple matches of PUBG. It's perfectly doable. So I don't think I have a issue with this at all. Check out these speakers on the Plus. So again, the speakers are pretty decent, and the bass is a little bit lacking. The kicks are actually pretty solid, but the 808s aren't crazy. Because these phone speakers today have gotten like so good where the 808s are just like booming. And then you could kind of, when you come back to these older phones, you can kind of tell like the bass is not. Yeah, so you can like almost barely hear the 808s. I'm sure you could kind of tweak it to make it sound a little bit better, but the overall sound quality is fine. There's no distortion or anything like that. The top speaker sounds pretty good, so I have an issue with the sound. It's just not going to give you that like full like booming sound. And the fingerprint scanner, it is an ultrasonic, and it works pretty well. I typically don't have a problem with this one. You can also use your face unlock as well too. And yeah, you can install Good Lock on here. The Galaxy AI features, they aren't here, but I did a video showing you guys how you can kind of make the phone a little bit more modern feeling. But your Samsung desktop support is on here. And maybe if I turn Dolby Atmos on, because it wasn't on. Let's see if it... Yeah, nah, it didn't do anything. But yeah, so Samsung desktop support is here, and you have still majority of the features. You can install Good Lock. I did a video on that. So yeah, it's like the Galaxy S21 that we looked at. This phone also will give you some pretty good shots, but again, it basically has the same kind of issues that the S21 has, and that is with the really like kind of strange coloring that Samsung used to do, where it makes everything extremely vibrant. I'm not gonna say everything, but some stuff it'll just like a green will look extremely green, red will look extremely red, and this is stuff that you can tweak with photo editing. But besides that, I think the shots look pretty solid, good dynamic range. The telephoto lens does a pretty good job of giving you a little bit of detail, but the biggest thing that you'll notice, with this phone is that if you put it in, again, in any type of low light situation, it kind of gets soft and a little bit grainy. It has a 12 megapixel standard, and has a 64 megapixel telephoto. It's able to get you up to 30 times zoom, a 12 megapixel ultra wide in 8K 24, and a 10 megapixel selfie that also shoots in 4K 60. So the specs are, still pretty decent on here. And like I said, some of these shots look pretty good. So I'm not saying it's not necessarily a bad camera, it just has weird kind of coloring for skin tones sometimes as well too. Kind of gives you that pale look. But overall, sometimes the shots look actually pretty decent. The video also kind of looks a little bit dated. Of course, it kind of has that really digital kind of look to it if you don't put like a lot of light on it. But yeah, besides that, it's not bad. One thing that I can never complain about with this phone is the actual battery life. This thing has a 4800 milliamp hour battery, and it does a very good job. So it's 4800, 25 watts. You have your wireless charging with reverse wireless charging. I think it does, again, a really solid job at screen on time and standby time. I think it just does a lot better for me than the S21 Ultra and of course the S21 with a smaller battery. I think because this has a almost the same size battery, it just is not running in 1440p. So I'm sure I could probably get similar results on the S21 Ultra if I turn the resolution down, because I think that's pretty much like the main thing. So I would have to say the battery life is still pretty good till this day on the S21. I can get a full like 6 hours of screen on time out of this phone. So yeah, pretty cool phone to come back and revisit. I always love the design. I love the completely flat display on here, and it's not a bad phone when it comes to performance. It really doesn't get all that hot, and you can still play games pretty well on here. It's not gonna blow you away or anything, but for $150, it's a pretty solid